What was the verse number there? Mentions Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We concluded the story of Noah alayhi salam, that Allah Ta'ala had sent him to his people after the wrath had set in after Adam alayhi salam. The time of Adam alayhi salam, people were on the haqq, but slowly, with the passage of time, there was a retrogression in the morals of people. They began worshipping idols, etc., etc., and things began degenerating. And then Allah Ta'ala sent Nuh alayhi salam, and his story is a classical epic story of perseverance. After قال ربي إني دعوت قومي ليلا ونهارا, I told my people for day and night for a period of 950 years. 950 years. But despite that, they did not respond. Only after so many people, it mentioned there, the lands were filled with these people. Only 80 people responded. So Allah Ta'ala then said, at the end, they were destroyed. فَأَخْرَقْنَاهُمْ. So in the next verse now, Allah Ta'ala speaks about Ad alayhi salam. Read that one. Let's read the next verse, inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإلى عاد أخاهم هودا قال يا قوم ما لكم من إله غيره ولكن رسول العالمين أبلغ برسالات ربي جعلكم خلفاء
Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So, after speaking about Nuh alayhi salam, here Allah Ta'ala speaks about Ad. And to Ad, we send the brother Hud. Remember, to Ad, we send Hud alayhi salam. He said, oh my people, worship Allah. You have no God other than Him. So do not see Allah Ta'ala. Here's a brief history, inshallah, of the people of Ad. A brief history. Ad is the name of a person who is in the first generation after Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam. Remember, we told you, after Adam alayhi salam, and Nuh alayhi salam came about 10 generations. That was between Adam alayhi salam and Nuh alayhi salam. Right? There's 10 generations. Then obviously Noah alayhi salam came, and then he called his people. Then those who responded, when they were saved on the ark, on the ship, those that didn't respond, they were destroyed. And again, as is the habit of mankind, you sacrifice for the progress of time, you sacrifice. So same thing here. Um, you get people slowly, they get sacrificed. So here we go now to Ad, who was the first generation of Nuh alayhi salam. So in other words, let's get out the 15th generation of Adam alayhi salam. Because from Adam alayhi salam to Nuh alayhi salam, there were 10 generations, and from Nuh alayhi salam till Ad, there were 5 generations. So Ad is the name of a person who is the first generation after Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam. It is amongst the progeny of his son Sam. So Ad came from the progeny of Sam. That was of Nuh alayhi salam, the son of Sam, right? Then his progeny and his people came to be known by the name of Ad. So all of the children of this particular person were known as Ad. In the Holy Quran, Ad also appears with the words Ad al-Ula, the first Ad, Iram Zat al-Imad, that is the city of Iram, with lofty pillars or tall like pillars, Iram Zat al-Imad, right? Which tells us that the people of Ad, also known in association with the name of Iram, and was that Ad is the same, right? So there is some Ad as well. In this investigation, commentators and historians differ. The better known proposition is Iram is the name of the grandfather of Ad. So some ulama say that Hiram was the grandfather of Ad. This Ad is among the children of Cush, was his son, and is known as Ad. His second son, Joth, his second son, Joth, had a son. His name was Samud. He's called Ad, right? The other time that Ad and Samud are both two branches of Iram. So Ad and Samud, they are two sons, two branches of the same person, right? One of them is called Ad and the other is called Samud. And the word Iram is common to both Ad and Samud. So Iram is the father of Ad and both Samud. You got it right. Some commentators have said that the time when the punishment overtook the people of Ad, a deputation of theirs was on a visit to Makkah Mu'azzama, which remains safe from this punishment, is known as the other Ad. So now, you think about two Ads, right? So the explanation that is given here is that when the punishment overtook them, then there was a delegation that is bound to Makkah, so they were not in the place where the punishment came. They were not in the Mu'azzam place. As a result of them, they got saved. So they are known as the Azhar. You understand that? So Hud alayhi salam is the name of a prophet. He's also the first generation of Sayyidina Nuh. All that being about is the first generation. So he was also from among the progeny of Nuh alayhi salam. Right. So the genealogical tree of the people of Ad is the Hud converges, right, on Sam. So what I say here is, um, yeah, so if you trace up the people of Ad and you trace the people of Hud, then they join at Sam. And from Sam, there's one line up to go to Nuh alayhi salam. Are you with me so far? So therefore, say the Hud is a lineal brother to Ad. So even also, so in other words, they're coming from the same progeny, right? That's why it was said, their brother. Allah Ta'ala said, وَإِلَىٰ أَخَاهُمْ Huda, their brother, because they share a common ancestry. Are you with me now? Right. So people of Ad, it's 13 families. So basically, Ad, they were divided into 13 big families. The habitations were spread out from Oman to Hadramaut in Yemen. So today, if you look at Oman, which is also on the Jazeera al Arab, and Hadramaut is, Oman is more like in the north, and Hadramaut is more in the south. But the whole area there, which is part of the Jazeera al Arab, the lands were fertile, gardens were abundant. To live, they constructed mansions and palaces. Mansions and palaces. They were tall and heavily built people, strong people. This is what the expression said. Zadakum fil khalaqi basta. When Allah is speaking about the people of Ad, He says, He increased them in creation. That's strong people. Gave you increased strength. Right? In first, Allah Ta'ala opened the doors of His blessing upon them. But the crooked thinking by these very blessings a curse for him. So remember, when you are an obedient slave of Allah Ta'ala, then the blessing of Allah Ta'ala is a medium for you to grow closer to Allah Ta'ala. But when you are, that's why they say, wealth in the hands of a pious person is a ni'mat. But wealth in the hands of an impious person is a punishment for him. But what he's going to do with the money? He's going to do the wrong thing. He's going to gamble, he's going to womanize, he's going to consume alcohol. Allah Ta'ala increased these people in His favor. But instead of turning in appreciation to Allah Ta'ala, they abuse the favor of Allah Ta'ala, right? As the crooked thinking makes these very blessings a curse for them. They became so intoxicated with their power and grandeur that they started boasting. They said, Man ashadu minna quwwa, who is greater than us, who is superior to us in strength. How strange of them that they took no notice of the Lord and the Lord of the world. Favored is those blessings, and that blessings they all were and went on to sink themselves into the worship of idols and idols carved out of rock. So instead of them turning in appreciation to Allah Ta'ala, they turned away from Allah Ta'ala, they began carving rock, idols out of rocks, and they began worshiping this. So the lineage of Hud alayhi salam is some glimpses of his background. They were the people for these were the people for whose guys Allah Ta'ala said Nuh alayhi salam as a prophet who was from the family. The famous authority on Arab genealogy Abu Barakat al-Jawni has written that the name of the son of Sayyidina Hud alayhi salam, which was Yasser Rabbi Qahtan, who went to live in Yemen, Yemeni people, his progeny. The Arabic language originated from him and was this correspondence with Yarub. The language was called Arabic and its speakers were the Arabs. But the truth of the matter is that the Arabic language was there since the time of Nuh alayhi salam. So yeah, the genealogy says that Arabic came about at this time, but yeah, the authors say no. Even at the time of Nuh alayhi salam, the Arabic language was there, it was spoken. It is Aki, a companion called we discussed this before. He spoke. So the population, the population of Makkah to Mu'azzama started from the very Turum. And remember, if you do the story of Ismail alayhi salam, it speaks about the Turum people, remember. However, it is possible that there is in Yemen through Yarub ibn Qahtan, and this way, what Abu Bakr has meant. Anyway, then I would have introduced the people of Ad to forsake idol worship. Hud alayhi salam, he spoke to his people, he advised them, look, Allah Ta'ala has blessed you, and you're supposed to be turning towards Allah Ta'ala, but you are engaging in idol worship, and forsake idol worship and take to monotheism and shun injustice and oppression and practice moderation and justice. But these people were drunk with power and wealth. They did not listen to him. Consequently, the first punishment that visited them was that rain stopped coming for full 3 years in succession. So you know Allah Ta'ala's punishment comes slowly, slowly. When it comes, he tightens his grip slowly. So the first punishment was for 3 years. So we had, so remember, just to sum up again, because these people had was the first generation of Nuh alayhi salam, and they lived in this area from Oman, which is a place in the Oman, right al Yemen, and Allah Ta'ala sent a prophet from amongst them who was Hud alayhi salam, and he advised them when they become wayward, and they did not listen. So the first test was there was only of rains for 3 years. Lands became deserts, gardens turned into deadwood, but those people still kept sticking to shirk in idol worship. Remember we done this hadith, I told you that إذا عاد burujan. Remember that when the deserts will turn to green lands. Remember we told you that. Remember, so it shows you that I told you this is a miracle of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. How did Nabi Sallallahu know that at one stage these desert lands were all, beautiful lush gardens, and the other Nabi it will return. So even science today confirms that all of these places were lush, beautiful gardens. The signs of fields, etc., etc. And the hadith speaks about returning to the original condition. That's in itself a miracle. That's in itself to inspire to believe in the truthfulness of Nabi Sallallahu. But anyway, so the punishment started. So gardens started turning to deserts. What's called in the English desertification. Desertification, right? So, but they continued. Then came another punishment. A severe windstorm overtook them. It continued for 8 days and 7 nights. Rihan Sarfara, right? What remained of the garden in Manchester Palace was leveled to the ground. Their men and animals went up in the air and zoomed back, hitting the floor on their heads. So there was such severe winds, it actually picked up the men and threw them in the air and threw them down again to the ground. That's the people of Ad were eliminated to the last man. The Allah says, وَقَطَعْنَا دَابِرَ الَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا. That's we cut them, we destroyed them, we eradicated those who belied our signs. In this verse, as determined by some commentators, is that all those people present at that time were totally destroyed. They were totally annihilated. Some other comments said that it means that Allah Ta'ala cut off the linear root of the people of Ad for the future as well. Some ulama said that maybe everybody was not destroyed, but after this they ceased to exist as a coherent society. When the punishment for not listening to Sayyidina Hud alayhi salam and insisting on kufr and shirk came down upon his people, he and his companions took refuge in the open area and closed with stakes. It was strange that the stormy winds, which were making palaces collapse on the columns, would suddenly change space and enter the enclosure gently. So he says, at the same time, when the punishment came, it was like a pavilion, like, enclosed area. It was not so solid. We Hud alayhi salam and Those who accept his message, they sought refuge here. And the strange thing was that when the wind comes to this area, it will be a gentle wind. It will not destroy them. You know, Ibn al-Azim is there. We'll stop there. We'll continue tomorrow, inshallah.